When your kindness becomes a meal, you have to change the rules today. I want you to pause whatever you're doing right now and ask yourself this question. When was the last time someone asked you for a favor and you said no without feeling guilty? If you can't remember, or if that question made your stomach clench, then this video is for you. Because today, we're talking about something that nobody wants to admit, but everyone needs to hear. People are feeding on your light, and it's time to stop serving yourself up as an all-you-can-eat buffet. Now, before we dive deep, I want to be crystal clear about something. This isn't about becoming cold or heartless. This isn't about assuming everyone is out to get you or painting the world with a cynical brush. Dale Carnegie taught us to understand human nature without demonizing it, to recognize patterns without losing our compassion. That wisdom guides everything we're going to discuss today. The truth is, most people aren't deliberately trying to drain you. They're not sitting in dark rooms plotting how to steal your energy. But here's what they are doing. They're following the path of least resistance. And if you've built yourself into that path, if you've made yourself the easiest person to ask, the most reliable yes, the guaranteed solution to everyone else's problems, then you've accidentally created a system where your light becomes food for others. Carnegie understood that people act according to their nature and their needs. When someone discovers that you'll always say yes, that you'll drop everything to help, that you'll take on their emotional burdens without question, they're not being malicious by continuing to come to you. They're being human. But being human doesn't make it right. And understanding their behavior doesn't mean you have to tolerate it. So let's start by identifying the 3 most common drainage patterns that empaths fall into. These are the ways that people, consciously or unconsciously, turn your natural giving nature into their personal energy source. The first pattern is what I call endless favors. This is when someone in your life has trained you to be their go-to solution for everything. Need a ride to the airport? Call you. Need help moving? Call you. Need someone to listen to their problems at 2 in the morning? Call you. Need someone to cover their shift, watch their kids, lend them money, fix their computer? Call you, call you, call you. Here's how you know you're caught in this pattern. The requests never stop, they never get smaller, and there's never any real reciprocity. The person asking has learned that you're reliable, available, and unwilling to say no. They've essentially turned you into their personal assistant, therapist, and emergency contact, all rolled into one. And the worst part, they probably don't even realize they're doing it because you've trained them so well. The second pattern is chronic urgency. This is when someone has figured out that magic word, urgent, is your kryptonite. Everything with this person is a crisis. Everything is desperate. Everything needs to happen right now, and somehow, you're always the only person who can help. They've learned that if they frame their request as an emergency, you'll drop everything and come running. But here's the thing about chronic urgency. It's manufactured. Real emergencies are rare. Real crises don't happen every week. When someone is constantly in urgent need of your help, when their life seems to lurch from one emergency to another, and when you're always the one they turn to for rescue, you're not helping them. You're enabling a pattern that keeps them dependent and keeps you drained. The third pattern is the most insidious one, praise that buys silence. This is when someone showers you with compliments about how kind you are, how generous, how understanding. Right before or right after they ask for something significant, they've learned that if they tell you how wonderful you are for helping, how they don't know what they'd do without you, how you're such a good person, you'll not only say yes, but you'll feel good about it. This pattern is particularly damaging because it hijacks your identity. It makes you feel like saying no would somehow make you less kind, less generous, less good. It turns your natural desire to help into a trap because refusing becomes not just disappointing someone else, but betraying who you think you are. Now that we've identified these patterns, let's talk about how to test whether you're dealing with genuine need or energy drainage. I call this the reciprocity test, and it's beautifully simple. The next time someone asks you for a favor, particularly someone who falls into one of these patterns, you're going to ask them for something small in return. Nothing major, nothing unreasonable, just something small that would take them minimal effort. Here's how it works. They ask you to help them move this weekend. You say, Sure, I can help for a few hours. Could you pick up coffee for everyone who's helping? They ask you to cover their shift. You say, I can do that. Can you cover mine next Tuesday? They ask you to listen to their relationship problems. You say, of course. After we talk, could you help me organize my closet for an hour? The key is to make your request reasonable, immediate, and specific. Don't ask for something huge. Don't ask for something vague like, return the favor someday. Ask for something concrete that they can do within 48 hours. Now watch what happens. A person who genuinely values your help and sees the relationship as reciprocal will say yes without hesitation. They might even seem surprised that you don't ask for things more often. But a person who's been feeding off your energy will react differently. They'll make excuses. They'll explain why they can't do this one simple thing. They'll act hurt that you're asking for something in return. They might even get angry or accuse you of being selfish. This test is incredibly revealing because it shows you the true nature of your relationship with this person. Are you partners in mutual support, or are you a resource they've learned to tap whenever they need it? The reciprocity test will tell you everything you need to know within 48 hours. But identifying the problem is only half the battle. The other half is protecting yourself, and that's where the protection triad comes in. This is a 3-part system that will create healthy boundaries without making you feel like you're being mean or selfish. The first part of the triad is the clear boundary. This means getting specific about what you will and won't do, when you're available and when you're not. Instead of being generally available for everyone's needs, you create specific windows when you're open to helping others. Maybe it's Saturday mornings. Maybe it's weekday evenings between 6 and 8. Maybe it's one weekend per month. The key is that it's defined, it's limited, and it's communicated clearly. When someone asks for your help outside of these windows, you don't need to explain yourself or justify your boundary. You simply say, I'm not available for that, but I could help during my usual helping hours. This isn't mean. This isn't selfish. This is sustainable. The second part of the triad is the single channel. This means that all requests for your help go through one specific method of communication. Maybe it's text messages. Maybe it's email. Maybe it's a conversation during your weekly coffee date. But it's not random phone calls at all hours, surprise visits to your home, cornering you at work, and messages on 17 different platforms. Having a single channel serves 2 purposes. First, it gives you control over when and how you engage with requests for help. Second, it forces people to be more thoughtful about what they're asking. When someone has to sit down and write an email explaining what they need, they're more likely to consider whether it's really necessary and whether they might be able to handle it themselves. The third part of the triad is the response window. This means you don't respond to requests immediately, even if you're going to say yes. You create a standard waiting period. Maybe it's 24 hours. Maybe it's 48 hours before you give your answer. This serves multiple purposes. First, it gives you time to really consider the request without the pressure of someone waiting for an immediate answer. Second, it trains people not to expect instant gratification from you. Third, it often makes the request go away entirely because the person either solves the problem themselves or finds someone else to help. During your response window, you evaluate the request using 3 simple criteria. Is this something only I can do? Is this something that truly needs to be done? Is this person willing to reciprocate if I ask? If the answer to any of these questions is no, then your answer is no. Now I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds harsh. This sounds like you're being difficult or unfriendly. But here's the truth. The people who react badly to these boundaries are the people who are taking advantage of you. The people who genuinely care about you will respect these boundaries and might even be relieved that you're taking better care of yourself. Let me give you some specific phrases that will help you implement these boundaries without feeling like you're being rude. These are bridge phrases. They acknowledge the other person's need while maintaining your boundary. When someone asks for something you can't or won't do, try saying, I can't do that today. Not, I'm sorry, I can't do that today. And not, I wish I could, but I can't do that today. Just, I can't do that today. It's complete, it's clear, and it doesn't invite negotiation. When someone makes a request that seems vague or poorly thought out, try saying, please put it in writing. This forces them to clarify exactly what they need, and often makes them realize they haven't thought it through. Many requests will disappear entirely when you ask people to write them down. When someone asks for an immediate answer or tries to pressure you into deciding right now, try saying, "I'll reply by tomorrow." This gives you your response window and sets a clear expectation about when they'll hear back from you. These phrases work because they're polite but firm. They don't over-explain or apologize unnecessarily. They set clear expectations without leaving room for argument. Most importantly, they protect your time and energy while still showing respect for the other person. But knowing what to say is only part of the solution. You also need a concrete plan for implementing these changes in your life. So let's talk about the 7-day empath liberation plan. Over the next 7 days, you're going to make 3 specific changes that will immediately reduce the amount of energy drainage in your life. These changes might feel uncomfortable at first, but remember, discomfort is often the price of growth. First, you're going to identify one major source of drainage in your life and cut it off completely. This might be the friend who calls you every week with the same problems, but never takes your advice. It might be the relative who always needs money, but never pays it back. It might be the coworker who dumps their responsibilities on you whenever they're overwhelmed. Choose one person or situation that consistently drains your energy without giving anything back. For the next 7 days, you're going to say no to every request from this source. No exceptions, no negotiations, no explanations beyond, "I can't do that." This isn't forever, but it's for these 7 days while you practice using your no muscle. Second, you're going to deny 2 requests that you normally would have said yes to. These don't have to be major things. They can be small favors, minor inconveniences, little requests that you typically agree to automatically. The goal here isn't to be mean or difficult. The goal is to practice saying no and to see what happens when you do. You'll probably discover that most people handle your no just fine. They find another solution, they figure it out themselves, or they ask someone else. The world doesn't end when you say no. People don't hate you when you set boundaries. Most of the catastrophic outcomes you've been afraid of simply don't materialize. Third, you're going to require written confirmation for 3 agreements or commitments. When someone asks you to do something and you agree, you're going to ask them to send you a text or email confirming the details. What exactly are they asking for? When does it need to be done? What are their expectations? This might seem excessive, but it serves several important purposes. It makes sure you're both clear on what's being asked. It creates a paper trail that prevents misunderstandings later. Most importantly, it makes people think twice before making casual requests, because now there's a slight barrier to asking. Throughout these 7 days, pay attention to how you feel. Notice the initial discomfort of saying no, but also notice the relief that follows. Notice how much more energy you have when you're not constantly putting out other people's fires. Notice how the people who truly care about you respect your boundaries, while the people who were using you become frustrated or disappear. This 7-day experiment isn't about becoming selfish or uncaring. It's about discovering that you can be kind and generous while still protecting your own well-being. It's about learning that saying no to some things allows you to say yes to the things that really matter. As we wrap up, I want you to remember something important. Your kindness is not weakness, but your inability to set boundaries is. Your desire to help others is beautiful, but your willingness to sacrifice yourself for everyone else's needs is not sustainable. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot light others' way if you've allowed them to extinguish your flame. The people who truly deserve your light will never ask you to dim it for their benefit. They'll help you shine brighter. They'll protect your energy as carefully as you protect theirs. They'll give as much as they receive and ask only what they're willing to offer in return. But the people who have been feeding on your light, they'll resist these changes. They'll test your boundaries. They'll make you feel guilty for finally protecting yourself. This resistance isn't a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're doing something right. You have every right to guard your energy, to choose how you spend your time, to say no to requests that don't serve you or the other person's highest good. You have every right to expect reciprocity in your relationships and to walk away from people who only take without giving. Your light is precious. Your energy is finite. Your kindness is a gift, not an obligation. And it's time to start treating them all as the valuable resources they are. The empath's awakening isn't about becoming hard or cold. It's about becoming wise. It's about understanding that true compassion includes compassion for yourself. It's about recognizing that protecting your own well-being doesn't make you selfish. It makes you sustainable. So I want you to do 3 things right now. First, write in the comments below which drainage pattern you recognized most in your own life. Was it the endless favors, the chronic urgency, or the praise that buys silence? Second, tell me which boundary you're going to implement first, the clear time limits, the single channel, or the response window. And third, let me know what other topics you'd like me to cover in future videos about protecting your energy and building healthier relationships. If this message resonated with you, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Share it with that friend who's always exhausted from helping others. Share it with that family member who can't seem to say no. Share it with anyone whose light is being dimmed by people who should be helping it shine brighter. Remember, when your kindness becomes a meal, you have to change the rules. And today is the perfect day to start.